In this quick tech video, we're going to demonstrate how to set valve lash, as well as explain why the process is vital to the health of your engine. Valve lash is the mechanical clearance in the valve train from the valve tip to the rocker arm in a pushrod engine using solid lifters. Excessive lash will cause noise in the engine and wear in the valve train, while lashing too tightly will hang open the valve and the cylinder won't run. Instead of making compression, air will blow through the valve. Thus, proper valve lash is critical to optimum engine performance. At Comp Cams, we use EOIC, which stands for Exhaust Opening, Intake Closing. This is just one method, but there are others. The EOIC method works for any pushrod engine using solid lifters. With the valve covers and spark plugs removed and the rockers on, screw the poly locks of the rocker arms until they are just finger tight. Then, rotate the engine until the exhaust pushrod on the cylinder that you're working on begins to move upward. You will be looking for any rocker arm movement. This is the process of exhaust opening. At this point, you can adjust the intake because the intake valve will be closed, ensuring that the intake lifter is on the base circle of the cam. This is particularly important as you run the risk of hanging open a valve if lash is adjusted while the lifter is not in this position. Place a feeler gauge between the valve tip and the rocker arm. Tighten the adjuster nut of the poly lock until the proper lash is found. When you get to your preferred lash, hold the adjuster nut in place and set it with the inner screw using an Allen wrench. The poly lock adjuster nut adjusts the amount of valve lash, while the set screw locks it into place. Finally, tighten with an adjusting torque wrench until it clicks at 20 foot-pounds of torque. This tightens the adjuster nut to the inner set screw and ensures that they do not come apart. The lash on most engines is set anywhere from 12 thousandths to 22 thousandths. Check your cam spec card for exact valve lash settings. To set lash on exhaust, rotate the engine again and wait until you see the intake valve open to full lift and start to come back up. Again, simply watch for rocker arm movement. You then can set lash on exhaust the same way you did with your intake valve. Some engine builders and racers use valve lash as a tool for tuning at the track. Greater lash gives an engine more bottom end or torque, while tighter lash creates more top end or horsepower, which is typically made in the higher RPM range. Lashing a valve too tightly can hang open a valve, while excessive lash will decrease the duration of lift, in essence making a cam smaller. Again, it is also critically important to make sure that the lifter is on the base circle of the camshaft so that you can set lash. If you have lift, the lash will be incorrect and you can hang open a valve. Check out compcams.com to find the valve lash adjusting torque wrench and powerhouseproducts.com for a remote starter switch to bump over the engine if you're adjusting lash from under the hood. For more information on how to set valve lash or any of our featured products, call our CAM helpline at 1-800-999-0853 or visit us online at compcams.com. Also, be sure to like us on Facebook.